Hello, this is David at iRepairFast, and today we're going to be doing a screen replacement on a Galaxy S7. This is part of our Nothing Left Out video series where we repair computers and devices from start to finish. Like the Galaxy S6, the Galaxy S7 also has an adhered backplate. We're going to apply a little bit of heat to make the adhesive a little bit more tacky in order to get it off in one piece. If your back is cracked or already damaged, you're probably going to need another backing before you do the repair. We're now going to use a metal pry tool to get underneath the glass backplate. We're going to use it just enough to get purchase on the device and then try to use any kind of a nylon or plastic spudger in order not to damage the back glass. After we gain purchase using the metal pry tool, we're going to use a plastic playing card in order to get in between the glass plate and the adhesive. The playing card is not thick enough to put too much pressure up on the back plate in order to crack it, but it is just enough to break up the adhesive. Feel free to apply more heat as necessary. As you can see here, we have most of the adhesive still on the back plate and intact. That's good. That way we can reuse it when we put it back together. We're now going to go ahead and remove the screws around the back plate. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to this for you, but here you can see the technician pointing out all the screws that need to be removed. Once we get all the screws removed, we'll go ahead and remove this mid plate. Unlike the S6, it's going to come off in 3 separate pieces. Starting with the top, middle, and bottom, we'll go ahead and pop those off. Now that we have access to the motherboard, the very first thing we're going to want to do is to disconnect the battery. Before we further disassemble the phone, we're going to try the new digitizer on the digitizer connector and try out the phone. So reconnect the digitizer, reconnect the battery, turn it on, and make sure everything's working properly before we continue. Now that we know that everything is functioning properly, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the battery and then take off the new screen. Now to break up the adhesive on the screen, we're going to, you guessed it, apply more heat. Again, we're going to use the metal pry tool to get underneath the glass. Remember to disconnect all of the ribbons on the back on the motherboard in order to not tear anything or put undue stress on the board itself. The technician realized that he's going to need something a little thinner than our pry tool. We're going to go ahead and use a razor blade in order to get purchase. Be very careful not to cut yourself or damage the phone. Once we gain purchase, it's back to the playing card. Apply more heat as needed and slowly work around the glass. Eventually, it'll come free. The digitizer and LCD will likely separate on doing this repair. Don't freak out, as the new part has both the digitizer and the LCD intact. Be very careful with the multitask button and the back button on the bottom left and right of the screen respectively. You also don't want to lose the home button in the middle. We're now going to apply some double-sided tape on the sides to hold the screen in place. You may need to pull up on the motherboard ever so slightly to feed the ribbon through and get the screen to sit flush. Now that we have the screen flush, we're going to go ahead and reconnect all the ribbons and battery and then give it a test. Now that we know that everything's functioning properly, we're going to go ahead and reverse the process. Put back on the mid plate and the back plate. We managed to get our back plate off without damaging the adhesive too much, so we're going to go ahead and reuse that. If yours is too torn up or bulging in any place, feel free to scrape it off with a razor blade or another sharp object. Be very diligent not to dig into the glass, and then put down some more double-sided tape to keep it in place. And that's all there is to doing a screen replacement on a Galaxy S7. If you have any questions or would like us to do a repair for you, feel free to visit www.irepairfast.com or follow the link in the description. And as always, thanks for watching.